Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the yachtbroker.org, boat docs, and yachter.com webinar series. My name is Paul Flannery. I'm Chief Operating Officer at IYBA, the International Yacht Brokers Association. We are joined this morning by Ben Ward, founder of Ward Yacht Sales, and Sarah Shake, founder of Vacancy, our marketing partner. And we're going to talk today about those three items, yachtbroker.org, boat docs, and yachter.com. One of the questions is why yachtbroker.org? And yachtbroker.org is because it's industry owned and it's led and run by the not-for-profit associations. Our goal is to provide a member service in partnership with the other associations around the country and around the world to give you solutions to the needs that you have as a successful yacht broker. Who's leading it? The Digital Services Committee is a subcommittee under the board at IYBA with members from several different associations, actually. The board of directors at IYBA. Our technical partner is a company by the name of Vext that handles all of our technical know-how. And you, the subscriber, your information to us as provided in, here's the first thing you need to hear this morning, info@yachtbroker.org. And if Alex, you wouldn't mind throwing that up in the chat box or chat room. If you have questions or suggestions for us, please do bring them forward at info@yachtbroker.org. Another thing about the chat box, we do not have time in these webinars, unfortunately, to address questions, but your questions are very, very important to us. So if you would please put them in the chat room. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, sign into the chat room and tell us where you are, where you're watching from. We have quite a large audience this morning, and we'd love to see what areas of the country or the world you're chiming in from so that we can make sure that we're attuned to your needs. The current inventory in yachtbroker.org, if we looked at it this morning, is at 13,742 boats. That's down slightly from the latter part of last year for a couple of reasons. One, there has been slight attrition in the subscriber base. And when I say slight, we are down from what we had initially, but we are up from where we were this time last month. We're actually up 8% from where we were last webinar, which took place in the middle of December. The inventory is down slightly because one of the things that our subscribers have come to understand is that they don't want to pay for things that aren't real. So they're going in and cleaning up their databases. And that's actually to the benefit of the entire community because what it does is it reinforces the accuracy of the information. A couple of quick things that I wanted to address with the audience today. We had great questions from last webinar, and some of them made me remember or realize that what some of us take for granted, maybe everybody doesn't know. For example, we had a subscriber ask, when I referred to enriched content last time, what is enriched content? And it brought up the idea that some of the terms that we use, some of the ways we look at this aren't necessarily intuitive for people that have no experience in the technology field, myself included, not a long time ago. And thanks to some of the people here on the call, I've learned quite a lot. But for example, enriched content is simply adding more information to your listings. One of the things that I could suggest to you as an audience is utilize the AI tools that are available to you. Use ChatGPT, use Google, use Gronk, or whichever one you feel is the one that you're most comfortable with, and input your listing information in there and ask the AI, to help you enhance what you have written, because what it will do is it will help you to be more successful in getting your information out to the world. There are two ways that the information is gathered through search engines. One is called SEO, search engine optimization, and the other one is GEO. GEO is what we use today and we'll use much, much more as we go forward, utilizing AI. So generative engine optimization is what GEO stands for. And basically what the difference is between the two of those is SEO looks for order and structure, whereas GEO looks for the concept. Ben or Sarah, if you want to enlighten the audience a little bit more on that in your portions of the conversation a little later on, please feel free to do so. Correct me if I'm wrong at all. But this is going to be something very, very important for our community as we go forward, is to utilize AI and to utilize GEO. And it's not very hard to do. Simply utilize the AI tools that are available to you on the internet. There are two really functional elements of websites. One is the structural and one is the visual. The structural is the tech, and that's the code. That's the way the computer language speaks to the databases and brings information forward when searched. And the tech is handled by our tech advisors. The visual is handled partially through our marketing company, and that's called our UI UX, or user interface user experience. So it's what you see when you're using the products or when you're using the different platforms. We're wide open to your suggestions. If you see things in the platform that are not intuitive, please share that with us. If you have suggestions for us of things that you would like to see, then please, again, share that with us at info@yachtbroker.org. If it's pertaining to boat docs, you're welcome to do it at info@boatdocs.org. If it's Yachter, same thing, info@yachter.com. But we're wide open to input on those things, and we would welcome that from the audience. What have we done in the last 30 days? So we had our first webinar in the middle of December. We had a great attendance. Today we have a great attendance as well. And in the last 30 days, what we've been spending our time on, despite the holidays, has been developing a new landing page for yachtbroker.org. Sarah and I saw the preview of that this morning. It looks pretty darn good. We're going to do some tuning. We're going to bring that to the Digital Services Committee this afternoon in our meeting there, and you should expect to see a rollout of the new landing pages there. Why do we do that? Not just so it's pretty, because it's more intuitive. We're also working on the analytics with the help of the Digital Services Committee. We're asking them for their input as to what do they want on analytics, as we ask you, what do you want in your analytics? The reason it's important to learn that from you is because it's not just about what it looks like, but we have to be able to query the databases for the proper information. And in order to be able to do that, we need to know what's most important to you. There are other systems that you use that you become accustomed to. They may lack some information that you want. They may have some information that you don't want. Please share with us whatever it is that you do want. The other thing that we've done with regard to yachtbroker.org is we've increased our server capacity so that we can have faster response times. We've made things a little bit more intuitive. We've made things a little bit faster, a little bit more robust. Another thing that we've done is we are in the what's called the dev sites or development stage. So we're able to take each and every one of our platforms and make improvements to them in a sequestered environment where we can test them very thoroughly before making them live and bringing them out in front of the audience. That's something that wasn't as well executed before as we had hoped it would be. Today it is. So we have dev sites set up for everything. We test and try everything before we bring it forward. What have we done with Yachter over the last 30 days? One of the things that we've done is we've adjusted the contact form from the sender settings so the brokers can reply directly to inquiries from Yachter. That was something that Sarah has worked on to help us so that we can connect directly with the buyers on inquiries instead of it having to go through too many hands. We do, as you know, provide the broker's direct contact information in yachter.com, your name, your telephone number, your email address if you've chosen to put it in there. But we also have the ability for you to directly connect back with the inquiry or with the buyer. We've reviewed our search engine logic and worked on some improvements for the search functions so that it's a cleaner, more efficient experience for everyone. We've adjusted the AI search to be more efficient as well. We had a couple of things in the AI that were a little bit clunky, and our tech team has really done a deep dive on all of it and recommended some cleanups. So we've done some cleanups there. What all these things mean, they just mean more efficiency. they mean a faster response time. They mean that when a client or a prospective client inquires, they're going to get cleaner, more direct, and more pertinent information to their specific inquiry. We've added a sell landing page to access it for the brokerages. So if you go into Yachter and you look up at the header, you're going to see a button that says sell. And the reason that we put that there was so that we had a dedicated space for the potential selling community to understand the value of using a yacht broker. And frankly, that also enhances SEO for the site overall. And that's one of our goals, is to enhance SEO. Our goal is to enhance SEO by doing as many technical things as we can with the sites. Your goal should be to address SEO and GEO by making sure that you put as much good, solid content in your listings as possible, because it's an ecosystem that depends on each and every leg that supports it. We've updated our plugins. We started to do an SEO and a GEO audit, which should be completed by the end of this week. When we see what the audit is and what the audit reveals, we'll implement the changes. Those have to be done fairly frequently. We hadn't done one since probably the beginning of December or so. So it was time to run through everything, because we've made a lot of changes. And we want to make sure that every change that we make is optimized to the very best degree possible. We've set up the VPSs and the dev sites. We've had a couple of small errors that have popped up. And the only reason that I bring that up is because when an error pops up, instead of just dealing with it and moving on, what we're doing and making sure that we do is correcting the error and making sure it doesn't happen again. That's another great skill of our tech team that has brought forward here in the last couple of months. We've improved the speed at which we're able to fetch vessels from listings on the homepage, so that, again, with our cleaning up the databases, with our cleaning up our processes, what it does is it makes for a better user experience for the client that goes on board yachter.com, or for the broker that goes on board yachtbroker.org. So this morning, we're going to spend most of our time talking about boat docs. We've had, there's a little update for you on yachtbroker.org and what we've done with that and with Yachter. Boat docs is a product that is included in your subscription as we currently. Boat docs is the solution to the processing of all of your documents, to go right from the listing all the way out to the closing. Ben Ward is co-founder of Ward Yacht Sales. Ben has a very deep history in the technology space. I don't know why, but he chose to enter into the yacht brokerage community. Actually, I do know why, and we all know why, because it's a very rewarding area. Ben's going to talk to us about boat docs and give us the lowdown, give us an introduction, and give us some insights as to how boat docs can work well for you. Ben, go ahead.
Thanks for that intro, Paul. So good morning, everyone. Happy New Year, and thank you to IYBA for inviting me on today. For those of you I have not had the opportunity to work with yet, my name is Ben Ward, and as Paul mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Ward Yacht Sales. We're a multi-office, multi-state brokerage, and we represent both new and pre-owned yachts. And like many of you, we need to manage our listings, our contracts, and transactions across a distributed team. So today, I want to talk to you about something that affects every single deal we do, and I imagine every deal that you do, and that's our documentation workflow. And I want to share how my company has been using boat docs exclusively now for about 1.5 years to help streamline that process on our team. So this is not a sales pitch from a software vendor. This is really just a broker-to-broker conversation about a solution that we believe works out in the wild, where this work actually happens. So let's get real here for just a second. Documentation is perhaps one of the least glamorous, but most critical parts of our business. Um, so firstly, I think we all know it's easy to get complacent, dealing with the things that you know, even if that thing that you know is not that great. Change can be hard, but change is also good. So what many of us are dealing with or have dealt with in the past are legacy solutions that often keep you feeling stuck, web apps that are not particularly user friendly or intuitive to learn. You know, they look like something circa the 1990s. Your reliance on heavily manual processes, either entirely or to supplement the process, which means you're piecing together various checklists, different libraries of PDF documents. Perhaps you've bolted on an e-sign solution. And it's a daily struggle for you and your team, perhaps your office managers, to just keep everyone aligned and on the same page. And it's especially difficult to get clarity on the status of deals, and perhaps frustratingly having to chase down missteps. So that's not a great reality to live in every day. So I've done my best to try to outline what I think we all want and need. And that's first off a solution that's actually built for yacht brokers and boat deals. Secondly, tools that your entire team can learn and use and onboard to relatively painlessly. Solutions that promote trust and professionalism with our customers. Our customers don't live in the 1990s, they live now, and they have expectations that have changed pretty dramatically. And so there's some table stakes things that these solutions need to be able to deliver on. Of course, we all want to keep our costs under control, so anything that doesn't increase our OPEX or operational complexity is great. And then a solution ultimately that's going to help minimize mistakes, reduce risk, keep us all compliant, and ultimately help us get deals done more quickly. So I hope that resonates with you, but that's sort of my conditions of satisfaction. So about a year and a half ago, my company committed to trying BoatDocs, and we quickly found that it was not only a viable alternative to the solution that we had been using, but in a lot of ways, we found it to be better. And so within a few months, we made the decision to shift to BoatDocs exclusively for all of our listing agreements and transactions at Ward Yacht Sales. And I can confidently say that we've never looked back. So I'm going to just share with you 5 reasons why that decision has stuck and some of the reasons that we're still using it. So first off, and Paul mentioned this, but you know, when you choose IYBA and you opt in for the MLS subscription, you have immediate access to BoatDocs. And it is a high-powered alternative to legacy or perhaps very costly solutions that I believe are keeping many of us stuck. Number 2, it is designed around how yacht deals actually work. So unlike some of the other tools where I felt like we were having to kind of force the process into the software, I feel like the software more supports the process. It's also integrated with Yachter and yachtbroker.org, so any of your listings that are on those platforms are instantly searchable, and those details are pre-populated along with your listing broker. You can also add participants to any deal, so even if the vessel is not on yachtbroker.org, you can still do the deal. We do deals, as you might imagine, with people who do not have a boat listed on the platform yet. And so it's very doable. It's not an issue. We can also add supporting documentation. So this is very helpful from sort of just an audit perspective. So supporting documentation like IDs, vessel documents, and also providing a checklist of tasks that ensure a smooth transaction. I'll touch on that a bit more later. Another reason is the role-based access. So we can set up our offices and then set up users and assign to each of those users roles that really sort of match the things that they need to see. And that keeps things pretty lean and streamlined. Fourthly, Bodocs helps us to deliver what I feel is a professional experience with our clients. So our brokers and our clients receive notifications as the deal is progressing and as documents are getting e-signed. And of course, if you do have a client that's either not comfortable or for whatever reason doesn't have access to do e-sign, you can also hand sign documents. And then you can choose the deal templates that work for your company. There's a large library of templates. Again, I'll touch on that some more a bit later. But you can choose which of those templates work best for you and which ones are available to you and your team. Finally, we can easily see the status of every contract and every deal pretty much at a glance. And also what documents have been viewed or changed by whom. So there's an audit trail built into the software. So you can see when that client has opened that listing agreement, and when they've signed. Okay, so I just want to start touching on some of what I feel are the key differentiators for the Bodocs platform. So Bodocs includes, I mentioned briefly, but a broad library of industry-ready forms and templates. So that includes your listing agreements, purchase agreements, various addendums, disclosures, state and U.S. Coast Guard specific forms, pretty much everything that we need to conduct business in a professional and compliant way. And this helps eliminate the risk of version confusion, especially if you've ever had to do this, from some kind of a file sharing solution. And it also helps ensure that your brokers are always using the correct forms. One of my favorite features is the deal-specific documentation uploads and task checklists. So every transaction has a clear task roadmap. What is required, what has been completed, and what is still missing. You can also customize these task lists for your organization. So if it doesn't apply to you, you simply remove it from the task list. I think this is not just helpful for brokers, while it is certainly helpful for brokers, but it's also very helpful for office managers and principals as well, because it reduces a lot of the back and forth, helps set really clear expectations, avoids potential missteps, and the last minute fire drills before a closing that we all hate. Bodocs also includes, again, I think this is table stakes, but e-sign functionality for most documents. And our customers certainly expect that in today's market. It delivers a very fast and efficient client experience. It's very easy to use. And as I mentioned, you can see, if you notice here on the slide, there's an example of an audit trail that just shows you, the status of each document as it goes out, once it's been delivered, once it's been viewed, once it's actually been signed off. Another thing I'll just mention is buyers, sellers, and brokers can execute and edit their documents not only from a laptop, but also from a tablet. And that means you can use it out on the docks, which is super helpful. So your brokers, your office managers, your clients also are going to get email alerts as each of these steps are completed. So that keeps folks informed, and they can actually access those documents once they've been executed and view them. So it's just really helpful for keeping everybody on the same page. Another major differentiator I touched on earlier is just the role-based access controls. For me, this just means brokers see only the things that they truly need to see. The office managers can see everything, and then principals or managing brokers can maintain the visibility and compliance and control across all of the users, all of the offices. Um, and then any non-users can also be added as participants on a deal. And what a great opportunity to invite them to use this tool and to start exploring the use of boat docs. Um, so this is a really powerful feature. You can even specify which documents are available for each individual user. So if you have users across different states and there's different forms that you've standardized across those geographies, then you can customize that. Boat Docs is also not just about individual deals. It's a helpful office management tool. So from a leadership standpoint, it gives you good visibility into all of your active listing agreements and deals pretty much at a glance. Uh, Again, confidence that the standards that you've put into place for your team are being followed, and there's a consistent workflow across your brokers and or your offices. So just kind of to recap a little bit and summarize, what we've seen is fewer documentation errors, deals progress more quickly, there's better accountability and clearer expectations with our team. The administrative overhead and the amount of like just chasing your tail, trying to make sure steps don't get missed, there's just a lot less of that. And it gives me a lot more confidence, and I certainly sleep better at night, as a managing broker. So, if you're already an IYBA MLS subscriber, I just want to give you some encouragement here. If you have not yet tried the platform or have been maybe unclear about its readiness, I hope this testimonial maybe is a little bit of a nudge to get out there and give it a try. As I said, we've been exclusively using it now for every deal for the last 18 months. So log in. There's some very helpful built-in video tutorials on Boat Docs that are extremely helpful for getting you up to speed. And it's for each of the modules within the application. So they're fairly detailed. They don't cover everything, but as Paul mentioned, if you do have a question, just hit up info@boatdocs.com, and the team's pretty quick at getting back to you. And then work with your team. Start testing it out. Give it a try on your next deal. And if you run into any challenges or if you have feedback on enhancements and improvements, then share that feedback. These tools only get better when we are using them, we are pressure testing them with additional use cases. Inevitably, there's going to be some corner case scenarios that come up that are not solved for perhaps as elegantly as we would like, but that's where we all have a role to provide that feedback. So give it a try, and I think you'll find that it's a very powerful and I think an improved experience over some of the legacy tools that are out there. So that's all that I have for this morning. I want to say a big thanks to the team at IYBA for developing this valuable tool and for creating and continuing to invest in alternatives in this market, and for giving me the opportunity to just share my organization's experience with all of you.
Thanks, Ben. And Sarah, just give me 1 second before we move over into the marketing update. A couple of things that I'd like to reinforce that Ben just shared with us. One is there is quite a host of tutorials on Boat Docs. So if you're in a field and you don't know exactly how to fill it out, there's going to be a little bubble at the top of the field. You click on the bubble, it gives you a video tutorial of how to work with it, of that specific area. Another thing I wanted to mention is that the e-sign platform that Ben was talking about is a proprietary e-signing platform. We didn't use a plugin from some other company. We built an e-signing platform from the ground up that specifically addresses our needs. And the third thing that I wanted to mention, which is most important, we all tend to have muscle memory. We're used to using certain things. We're used to certain solutions that we know how to work. Ben mentioned that you can invite someone who's not a current subscriber into the platform to create a deal, not to create a deal, but to continue on in a deal and complete a deal. One of the things that we know from some of the other solutions that are out there is that much of the community, if they're not subscribers to those platforms, the reason they're not subscribers to those platforms is that they don't want to be. They don't want their information in there. One thing you can be assured of with Boat Docs is that your information goes nowhere. We've done everything humanly possible and technologically possible to secure that information, and we continue to make sure that that information is secured. It is not shared with anyone. It is not used for solicitation purposes. It's not used for anything but the structure and completion of your deals. So if you have someone who's not a current subscriber, you're doing a deal with them and you invite them or encourage them to utilize Boat Docs, you can let them rest assured that the information that they put in there is secure. It's going nowhere outside of the platform. We have no use for it as an association. What are we going to do with client information? We don't deal with clients. What we want to make sure of is that you have an elegant, efficient tool to transact your deals. And on that note, Sarah's going to tell us how we're doing with Yachter.com. And your microphone needs to go on.
That would help. Hi, everyone. Great to be here again with you. I know we did touch base mid last month. So a couple of updates on what's happening as far as Yachter goes. We are employing several different marketing tactics, and I'll kind of just keep it very high level and go through a bit of all of them. So obviously, one of the main tactics that we're using is our PPC campaigns to drive traffic to the site through Google. So just to give you a couple of statistics, from October to December, we saw 27 million impressions and over 730,000 clicks. As Paul mentioned, December was slightly slower as compared to January. We see that we're off to a much faster start. However, at this rate, we certainly expect to do over 100 million impressions and over 3 million clicks with this pace. So we're really excited about that. What we're seeing perform best are both our PMAX and dynamic manufacturer campaigns. And that's a really fancy way of saying when we run ads on specific brands linked to your listings of those brands and those manufacturers specifically, we're seeing the best responses there. So as we continue to kind of optimize these campaigns, we will work at getting more granular on the Google shopping and certainly look at some of those brands that are performing really well and doing kind of dedicated creative to that. We know that a couple of you have gotten some spam form fills, and we really appreciate you sharing those with us so that we can look into them. So we are looking at implementing reCAPTCHA and two-factor authentication so that we can cut down on those spam inquiries. We want to make sure that we're giving you, the best leads, the best data possible. So that is on our radar. On the email side, we are continuing a 4 times a month B2C email campaign. We're also working diligently to grow that consumer database that is owned by Yachter, who we can retarget to, obviously at no cost, through email marketing. We're seeing a really great opt-in for the traffic that's coming through the website there, as well as a really great open rate on the welcome automation we have set up for those customers. So we will continue to send those emails out. If you'd like to be copied on those consumer-facing emails, you can simply opt in through Yachter.com, and then you'll also see what's going out on a weekly basis. We typically spotlight a specific brand and then a couple of listings underneath that brand. And we'll continue to kind of build out the lifestyle content that we want to make Yachter more of a destination for people to visit. As Paul mentioned, we know that kind of the analytics side and the reporting side of your listings on Yachter is really important. We want to give you visibility, for example, on how many clicks your listings are getting, how many views they're getting. So as Paul mentioned, I am beginning to work with Vext, who is the new tech team, to kind of architect a dashboard of sorts that eventually we hope will be able to be a great tool for you. So we're going to start to do some of the discovery there to find out which statistics really are the most meaningful to you, and what you want to be able to see in that snapshot. On the last side of things, on social media, we are growing that account organically, those accounts. So it is kind of slow and steady. We do our best to invite every brokerage whose listing that we highlight as a collaborator. So we would love your support in accepting those collaboration requests. Special shout out to Resolute Yachting and Waterfront Yacht Brokerage. Thanks for tagging us in your posts. But we would love to kind of see that engagement. That's going to help us grow and ultimately just be able to send more traffic to your listings as we grow those organic audience, both on email and social. So appreciate your support there, and we'll continue to highlight new listings. If you have a listing that you'd like us to give some extra attention to, you can always send that in, and we can try to get it on social or in one of our dedicated emails. That's what I have for you today.
And I have a feeling Sarah's about to get a lot of emails.
We love it.
Thank you, Sarah. A point that Sarah just touched on that is incredibly important is that we realize we're in this together. We didn't come to this bringing platforms forward for the community because we wanted to have some big income driver, or we do have to support ourselves. I mean, there's a genuine cost to making all this happen, and that's a discussion we've had before. We don't need to wear it out. But the fact of the matter is, we need to work together on this. We need to, as a community, encourage our colleagues and our competitors to get on board these products, because if you do so, and if they do so, it will result in a richer experience for you as a yacht broker. And that's what this is all about. We've been in need of alternatives for quite some time. The associations have tried on a couple of different occasions to come forward with solutions for the community for a variety of different reasons. They haven't worked to date. This one, as I mentioned to you earlier in our conversation, while our inventory number is down slightly, our number of subscribers is up. And that's the key element to me. If we can have steady growth on a month-over-month basis, then we are poised for success. And what that means is success for you as a community, not for us, but for you as a community. That's what we're about. IYBA, YABA, California Yacht Brokers, Northwest Yacht Brokers, Ontario, British Columbia, Michigan, Maryland, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, no matter what association you're a member of, the purpose of our associations is to provide member services to our members. This is a member service. There is a cost to providing a member service. We have to be able to subsidize that cost. We're trying to do so at as cost effective a level as possible. But the long and the short of it is, we're in this for you. So help us help you. I don't mean to sound like Jerry Maguire, but when you have another company that you're selling their listing and you want to use boat docs, or if you haven't used boat docs yet, please get on board and use it. It's a really elegant tool in order for you to process everything from the listing all the way down to the sellers and buyers closing statements. That's all the information that we have for today. I very much appreciate everybody taking the time. I know your time is quite valuable. We have over 100 in the audience today, which I'm very, very pleased with. We intend to continue to do these webinars. We won't do one in 2 weeks. I think we'll do our next one just after the Miami show. And then you'll see them repeatedly through Q1 and Q2. We want to keep you updated on what's going on with the platforms. We want to hear from you. Please, info@yachtbroker.org, info@boatdocs.org, or info@yachter.com. Yes, .com and .org. Org is for the professional side. .com is for the public side. But please share with us whatever questions that you may have, any suggestions that you may have. They do not fall on deaf ears. It's very important that we hear from the community in order to present the most elegant solutions to your digital processing, marketing, and boat search needs. Thanks very much, everybody. Enjoy your day. Get out there and sell something if you would. Bye-bye.